You see, I have a friend who maintains that, and I think I mentioned this in the first video, that things happen. It's funny that I'm doing this video because I just got an email about a relative I recently lost from my first girlfriend. We don't talk much anymore, but sometimes, and it's nice that she'll communicate with me. I think she's married now and everything, and I'm genuinely happy that she's doing well and happy, and the fact that she'll still speak to me occasionally, makes me feel good, I guess, even though I can't have her. So, thanks if you're watching this, who you are. But anyway, he maintains that things happen in trends. And that our society's kind of decayed right now again to a point where everything's just willy-nilly and nobody, fidelity essentially is not taken seriously. But there was a time, and I remember it, when fidelity was taken very seriously. And I just turned 35 a few days ago, so this wasn't all that long ago. But I definitely remember when I was a child, people just didn't swing around the way they do now and treat stuff like it was insignificant, because it's not. But anyway, this friend of mine's pretty sure that things are going to go backwards at some point, and women are going to be trying to stay virgins a little longer again, and stuff like that. And by the way, I've been with a lot of women who literally want to have sex because they haven't done it that day. And that's not a good reason to screw. Having it too much, I think, can devalue it as well. When you start thinking about it that way, it's hard to, want it. I know your sex drive slows down when you get older, but the average want is supposed to be every other day or so. You guys can look up the research on that if you want. But it can be hard to, keep up with a person who's almost insatiable. And if you're insatiable, probably there's some stuff going on. It's okay to be average. I know that might sound weird, but you're almost going to benefit more being an average person in life than being really, really good at one or two things. Take call centers, for example. If you're an agent and you work at a call center, you're going to get reprimanded about your call time regardless of how good your quality is, or your people skills, or anything like that. It'd be better to have average quality, average this, average handle time. You're going to go a lot farther. If you have a little more average and attainable wants in your relationship, then that relationship's probably going to last longer and be easier to maintain. I don't necessarily think a relationship should always be easy, but it shouldn't be like pulling teeth all the time. You shouldn't argue about things all the time. And if sex is the main focus in your relationship, then it's going to be hard for it to be based on anything else. And, if a girl's wanting to sleep with me in 2 days, I'm not really into her. I might be into her, in other words, she's hot or whatever, and this, that, and the other. And, she's kind of into balding slightly, out of shape me, which is all very nice. But when it's all said and done, our relationship's going to end up being based on the wrong thing, because we went and jumped in bed too quick. Let me see, I think it was 6 months before me and my first girl kind of decided to, do that. I mean, we hadn't even like felt each other up too much. We kind of really got to know each other, kind of let things sort of take their course, and when it felt right, we did it. Um, did that make things last? No. I mean, it didn't last ultimately, but I think that there were a couple of things that we probably both could have done that would have. Sorry guys, it's like 2 a.m. And I do the manual labor thing now, so I get worn out during the day. But you know, it just I lost my train of thought a little bit. Yawned at it. But point is, you just shouldn't. If you're really looking for a relationship, if you're really looking for someone to marry, you know, then sex should sort of be, you know. You don't exactly need to be with the hottest chick or the hottest dude, right? You know, because those people tend to know they're hot, and they tend to kind of use that to their advantage. Plus, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have had to just fucking beat other guys, you know, away with your fucking dick, man, but like trying to keep other dudes away from your girl, and you know that when something happens, you guys get in an argument, she's not gonna fucking cheat on you, man, and she's not gonna have a problem doing it either, because I guarantee that probably one of your friends is gonna be the one that ends up like in your shit, and don't let the I just let him fuck me in the ass thing be an excuse to make it okay. He put his dick in her, okay? I mean, that just shouldn't be the first thing that comes to someone's mind to go and do to somebody. Things have to change with relationships, or everything's just going to go downhill. I mean, it's almost like there's no sense of family anymore, and we're just kind of people living together. Is what it's really starting to feel like. And ladies, I don't know if any women watch my videos, but you know, just dudes tend to be really, really insecure. I mean, we can be. I mean, we try and say we're not, but just dudes can be really, really insecure. And you know, personally, I think sex is a lot of work. It's pretty hard. I know there are some positions that are hard around girls, but you know, I don't know. I just think that it's hard work. It's hard work, you know, to do that. I mean, especially if you're not in the best shape, you know, like some of us age a little worse than others. And there's also that. I mean, I can just tell when someone's forcing feelings for me, and I don't know, if I tend to feel that, I don't tend to perform very well, because it's just not going to get anywhere, you know. It's not going to lead to kids. It's not going to lead to ultimately any of the things I want, because although the sex is nice, I mean, it's going to get to, I would rather have it less and enjoy it more. You know, I don't, maybe that's what I'm going for here. If you have sex on a more average basis as a couple, it can be a little more fulfilling because you've had the absence of it. And absence makes the heart and the genitals grow fonder, okay? Doing it every day because you haven't done it yet, or multiple times a day because you haven't done it that day, tends to make it dull and boring after a while, because you've been doing it so much that you've already done everything. And once you've done everything, then it's hard to sort of be with that person anymore, especially if you're going to continue wanting it in that way, male or female. But you know, everybody's different. I mean, these again are just my opinions, and I don't necessarily, you know, write all of them in stone either. I suppose there are like some exceptions to everything, but I just don't really think that there should be too many in a relationship. And I am still going to say, when you think it's over, maybe it should be over. I mean, you know, divorce is real high these days, but, you know, if you just can't be happy with somebody. I dated this girl when I was in China. For those of you that don't know, I did live and work there for 3.5 years. I've taken those videos down because I didn't want to talk about it too much, but this Chinese girl I dated, she was really cute and everything. I really liked her about 20% of the time. The other, for one thing, when I got a hold of her, she had no experience, which isn't necessarily unusual. Girls tend to hold on to it there. And she just wasn't good at it. She just wasn't. Like, I couldn't make her good at it. I couldn't make her good at anything, really. I mean, she just, you know, I don't know, maybe it's one of those situations where we didn't do it enough or whatever, but she tended to also act in a way that sort of turned me off. When I wanted her to be a woman, or when she decided to actually act like a woman, she generally was very domineering and kind of upset about things. You know, complaining that I maybe didn't buy or something or what have you. When it came down to us being intimate together, she seemed to feel like she needed to be cute. Like, you know, we'd be kind of going at things and then she'd sort of giggle and like say something, you know, girly or whatever, you know, kind of immature, or point out something that would just throw off the mood. And that really started getting on my nerves to the point where, like, one time I said, just get your clothes on, and kind of just pushed her out of my apartment and closed the door, and that was it. You know, I don't think that anybody should have to put up with something they're not happy with. But I think you need to give everybody their due chance, and you know, I gave this Chinese girl many. You know, we got back together several times. I kind of tried to explain to her what I needed. All she needed from me was stuff, you know. And she kind of continued to act the same way, and she would say kind of foolish and hurtful things. Yeah, that's really something you need to be careful of in a relationship, I think. You know, I hope this has been useful. I'm going to go ahead and call this one here. No farting this time around. Sorry, Mark. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bid you good night, or good morning, I suppose, at that point. Bye-bye.